This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 568.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster.
We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, first and foremost, upcoming events. We have WORDCAMP KOLKATA. It is January 18th. It's a one-day camp, it looks like, so that's pretty cool. If you're in the parts of that world, definitely stop by, say hi. I won't be there. Don't say hi to me. Just say hi to other people. That's obviously what I'm talking about there. All right, moving on. Segment one. In the news, one thing to talk about here, that is that WordPress.com launches Studio Sync. And I didn't know what this was. I saw this on the ethers. So Studio Sync provides Studio with fast, simple ways to synchronize their local sites with the WordPress.com hosted sites for easy development and deployments. So I didn't know what Studio was. Studio apparently is a way to do offline local development. This reminds me a lot of ServerPress with WP Site Sync. So pretty cool. So anyway, Studio Sync connects to Studio to let you do these type of things. And like I said, it reminds me of ServerPress's WP Site Sync, which is no longer around. And I would test this for an upcoming episode in the future, but apparently currently Studio Sync is only available to users with the WordPress.com business or commerce plan. So I don't have that. I guess I could always pay for it for maybe a month. I don't know. I'd have to check to see if it's possible to pay month to month. I'll have to ask my friend. So if that's possible. Anyway, check that out. If that's something you're using, if you're using Studio and you want to use Studio Sync, you can do that. Also, it kind of reminds me of Local. I think it's Local by Flywheel. Yeah, so kind of similar as well. Moving on, segment two, the meat potatoes of this week's episode. It's been 8 weeks. It's time to do listener Q&A. Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies. So 3 questions as typical this time around. First question by Erica. Do I need to file a BOI? Now, I know what this means, and I know where this question is coming from, kind of. BOI stands for Beneficial Ownership Information. It's the BOI. It's a requirement introduced by the United States under the Corporate Transparency Act, the CTA. And it's been a big deal coming in the last couple of years or so that this is going to be effective January 1, 2024, but it was pushed. And I guess in theory, I did some research on this for you people. First and foremost, I am not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor, legally speaking. If you want more information, you need to reach out to those people that you pay to do that. This is what I found, okay? And there's a lot of information here about who needs to do this, how you do this, what it costs to do this. I'm going to answer those basic questions and give you one last little piece of tidbit here of information I found, which was kind of surprising. Anyway, so who needs to file it? Technically, most small businesses need to comply with this requirement unless they fall under specific exemptions. So the type of companies that need to file would be a corporation, LLC, similar entities. Exemptions would be publicly traded companies, large companies with at least 20 full-time employees, over $5 million in revenue, and a physical U.S. office. Certain regulated entities such as banks, credit unions, insurance companies, or tax-exempt organizations are also exempt. Now, what gets reported? Well, the name of the owners of the company applicants, and then, of course, one of the deadlines. So in theory, the deadlines were January 1, 2024, and then pushed to 2025, which was just, about 2 weeks ago as of this recording. And it's as confusing as can be. Now, what happens if you don't file this? Apparently, civil penalties would be up to $500 a day, up to $10,000. And that's what that scary part is, right? So, do you need a file is one of the main questions I found on the website here online. If you own or manage a small business like an LLC, a corporation, or similar entity that does not fall under exemption, then yes, you probably need to file a BOI report. Now, the steps to take are to head over to the site. What's the website? You have to file with FinCEN, and it's fincen.gov/BOI, and there's a FAQ there as well. And I'll put these links in the show notes as well for you. Now, here in North Carolina, I did some investigating. It says the North Carolina Secretary of State does not administer and has no responsibility for enforcing the CTA or the Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting Program. So Every state is slightly different, so keep that as well. And it also says contact a qualified attorney for more requirements of your entity. Okay. Does it cost money? This is what I kind of was aiming on earlier, and because I think there's been some scams out there that people are charging to do this. So no, it does not cost money to file this. So that's right off the bat, that I can confidently say there's no fee to do this, which is kind of surprising because states and governments always seem to want some tax. Anyway, and then lastly, digging into this, I went to the site, finsen.gov/BOI. I wanted to see the process. I clicked file. In the next screen, I got a big old heading at the top saying, in light of recent federal court order, reporting companies are not currently required to file beneficial ownership information with FinCEN and are not subject to liability if they fail to do so while the order remains in force. However, reporting companies may continue to voluntarily submit beneficial ownership information reports. More information is available, blah, blah, blah. So I'm at the moment pretty sure that it does not need to be filed officially. I think it still got pushed or punted down the road, kind of like the Real ID program here in the U.S. for driver's license and for travel documentation, the Real ID for flights and whatnot. So at the moment, I'm not going to file anything, but you might want to check your own situation and your own tax and or attorney references there. So I hope that kind of helps the question, Erica. It helps answer you. It's not like the best answer, like what is it exactly, or do I need to file? I don't know. I think it's just everyone's situation and your company's company location, status, type of company that you have would make that difference. So I think you need to do a little research to see where you fall into place on that. Okay. Next question from Monet. I'm looking for a way to reduce spam. Any suggestions? Well, yes, I do have suggestions. I have one main one. As luck would have it, I recently created a form over on my son's website. I use Gravity Forms, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't get a bunch of spammers because lately I've been really, really annoyed with the amount of spam I've been getting on half a dozen other sites on a daily basis. Just like people, I even put up like a couple check boxes and kind of doing a hacky way of reducing spam. Anyway, it didn't work. So my friend Jamie Curry recommended reCAPTCHA. So it turns out I already had an account, but I don't think I was using it properly. So for those who don't know, Google has reCAPTCHA. It's free, up to like 10,000 queries per month, if I'm not mistaken, is the number, how they they evaluate each form submission. So up to 10,000 a month. So that's plenty in my case. Anyway, there are 3 different types of reCAPTCHAs on Google. Well, there's version 3, version 2, invisible, and version 2 checkbox. Version 3 it provides a score of 0 to 1 based on the user's behavior, with a higher score indicating likely legitimate users. The advantages are it's completely invisible, it's minimal impact on the user experience, and it's great for reducing spam while maintaining a seamless form flow. Disadvantages, it requires fine-tuning for the score threshold. If it's set too high, legitimate users may be blocked. Too low, spam gets through. Okay. The reCAPTCHA V2 is also invisible. Kind of the same thing. It's easier to set up than version 3, which requires more secure monitoring. And it's really best for sites that need a balance between simplicity and invisibility while preventing spam effectively. That's their term. Okay. And number 3, and the one I've gone with most often, is reCAPTCHA V2. It's you check that box, I'm not a robot, and it challenges with challenges appearing for suspicious behavior. So if it happens too fast, you check box, and then I think it gives you then that pop-up box like show us all the staircases or pick the bicycles, etc. Not ideal, but it's best for when forms have user experience can tolerate a small interruption when extra validation is desired. So, recommendation here. My recommendation is reCAPTCHA V2, either invisible or checkbox. And then V3, if you have the time to set it up, and comfortable monitoring and adjusting the score threshold. It offers the least disruption, yes, but it's a little harder to set up. So you just want something quick and easy. I would go with, like I said, V2 checkbox or V2 invisible. I've used both of those. So far, so good. I've probably reduced the amount of spam on those other dozen sites by about 95, 96%. It just in the last, month. So interestingly enough, it just took me this much time to figure it out and go for it. All right. Is that it in that one? Yeah. Okay. Another question here. Last one, I think. Yeah. Do I think WordPress will be forked this year? Anonymous, something sent in by Anonymous. Do I think WordPress will be forked this year? I have no idea. Maybe. And that's all I have to say about that. Sorry, that's it. That's all I got. I know where this question's coming from. I know who this person is, I'm pretty sure, even though it's anonymous. Yeah, I got nothing on that. So a solid maybe? I don't know. All right. I think that's it for the questions. Yeah, short episode, nice and easy. Moving on, segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip, it's actually a tool. It's a website called data.page. It's a service that converts file types because I recently needed to convert JSON to CSV. They have a free level and a paid level. They do JSON to CSV, CSV back to JSON, and XML to CSV. And like I said, there's a free level, paid level, upgrade to Pro. Let's see, Pro is $10 a month. Desktop version is $120 a year. I'm not sure why. Oh, I guess you get bigger. Oh, you get 50 megabytes per month, or desktop, it's unlimited. Pretty cool. I've been using it because I'm doing some JSON, not concatenation, but I'm trying to combine a bunch of files and export it to see this data set that I'm looking into figuring out something on a personal level. Anyway, so check it out, data.page. Free level seems to work just fine for what I'm doing in it. All right, well, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a sponsor. There's a form to fill out. You can become a Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee. All those things on the website. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.